Crafters, Caitlin here, and welcome to my 2016 Graphic 45 Final Round Design Team Audition. Thank you, Graphic 45, for this opportunity. It's a true honor to be selected. Today, I'm going to share with you how to create this Communique Wall Hanging, perfect for any space in your home. So let's get started. Before we get started on your Communique Wall Hanging, these are the following supplies you'll need to complete this project. Crocodile with a 1/8 inch circle. I like crocodile because it goes through chipboard easily. Pair of scissors, a pencil, file, blending tool along with black soot distress ink for edging, a ruler, glossy accents, edge distresser, foam tape, glue dots, and souquin tape. You'll need 2 cream flowers, and 2 black flowers. You'll also need black Hug-a-Bug seam binding ribbon and the rusty red Hug-a-Bug seam binding ribbon. From the Graphic 45 Staples line, you'll need the washi tape set. You'll need 2 ornate metal keys of your choosing. You'll need 2 artist trading cards in black. You will need a 6-inch by 12-inch piece of mat board. Doesn't matter what color, but it'll need to be 1/8 of an inch thick. From the Communique Deluxe Collector's Edition, you'll use the chipboard that comes with it, and whichever piece you'd like. The papers that you'll need from the collection are telegram, classy correspondence, a fine specimen, on the dot, typography, postage, communique, and photogenic. First step for your Communique wall hanging, you will need your washi tape, scissors, pencil, and ruler, along with your mat board. So I take my ruler and my pencil and I'll mark 1/2 inch on the sides and on the top and bottom. This way I know where my washi tape will line up and will be straight. I love using washi tape because it is so forgiving. So you'll just roll it out and line it up with your line. Take your scissors and trim the end. Just lift it up and fold the back over. You'll repeat this for all 4 sides. So now that all the sides are done, we'll move on to adding our pattern pieces. You'll notice on the back of the wall hanging that I have put a piece of paper. So we'll start with that. And I've edge distressed as well as inked my edges with black soot distress ink. And I'm adhering them with sequin tape. And this piece is a 5.5 by 11.5 piece. So that'll be there. So that is our back side. We'll flip it over and work on our front side. So we're going to take another piece of the red tile paper that has also been edge distressed and inked with black soot distress ink. And this piece also is 5.5 by 11.5. Once that's adhered, I'm going to take this script looking paper, also edge distress it and ink it with black soot distress ink. And I just used my sequin on the back of it as well. And this piece is a 5.25 by 11.25 inch piece. So that'll just get adhered on the top of the red tile, and that'll give you about a 1/4 inch around border of the red tile showing. Now, the next step is adding your fun little film strip here. I've just edge distressed and inked the edges with black distress ink, and that will be adhered a 1/4 inch from the script piece of paper, and that lines the top and the bottom of the mat board. Before moving on, all I did was roll up the edges. So now that's the base of our mat board. The next step we want to do is creating the little tags that you can see here with the bows. These involve 2 artist trading cards, a piece of rust seam binding ribbon, and a piece of black seam binding ribbon. For me, I like to take my ribbon, put it through the top of my tag, get it so it's just about halfway, and knot it. Once that's knotted, I get the knot right in the middle of the tag and create 2 bows and wrap them around one another. Pull them through. Perfect. And then now you can adjust your bow to whatever length you would like. So I don't want to show a large loop, so I'm just going to adjust it so my loops of my bow are a little smaller. And once you're happy with the loops on your bow, just tighten up the knot a little bit. Perfect. And before moving on, we're just going to cut the ends of them. Okay, so now the black bow is done. So we'll move on to the rusty colored bow, doing the exact same steps as we did for the first one. Making sure that knot's in the middle, and then creating 2 loops, folding them over one another and through. And then adjusting them to the length in which I would like. Now that I have my bows the way I like them, I'll just trim off the extra from the rest there. Before moving on, you'll notice in my wall hanging final project, you'll notice that you can't see the tails of the bow at all. So what I did was I took my glue dots and I applied a glue dot to either end of the ribbon just to anchor it inside the tag. That way I didn't have my bow ends flapping everywhere. And there are the 2 bows and tags that we'll add on to our final project. So now that we have our tags and our bows done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some sequin tape and place them on the back of the tags. I usually do 2 pieces on either side. That way I know that they'll be secure. The tag with the black bow is going to go down in the bottom left-hand corner, and your guide will be placing it on the bottom line of the script paper, and the eyelet will line up with the number 5 on the film strip. And then adhere down, and we'll apply some sequin to the other rusty ribbon bow tag. This one's going to go in the top right-hand corner, and it's about a ½ inch from the top of the script paper and about 1 inch in from the right of the script paper. So there we go. So there are our 2 artist trading tags down with the black bow and the rust color bow added. The next step we want to do is add the Communique newsprint to the rusty colored bow tag. And this one I've added foam tape to the back of it, along with edge distressing and inking the edges with black soot distress ink. And when I went to adhere this one, I placed it just below where the straight line and the curve on the tag meet of the rusty colored ribbon, and then about 1/4 inch from the top of the script paper. The next piece you'll want to add is the hidden chipboard piece, and I chose this one out of the set. The one thing you'll notice is there's these extra little chipboard pieces left on it, so I'll take my file and just smooth them down a little bit. That way, when you go to ink the edges, you don't see them, and it just makes it look a little cleaner. So now that the edges are filed down, I'll take my black soot distress ink and quickly go around just to finish the edges so you don't see the chipboard. And then I have added sequin to the back of it, as it already has a bit of a dimension being a piece of chipboard, and this is going to adhere down to the bottom right-hand corner of the black ribbon chipboard artist trading tag. So just adhere that on. So now you have your tags and the first layer complete. The next layer we'll work on are the Western Union telegram. The backer to the Western Union telegram is this piece of black printed paper. For this one, I've edge distressed and inked the edges with black soot, and you're going to use foam tape to adhere that to the wall hanging. Okay, and then that piece is going to go right to where the film strip is and the script paper is. So that'll get adhered down. Then you'll want to take your Western Union telegram piece, edge distress it and ink it with black soot, and then you'll adhere it to the black piece just with your sequin tape, as it already has some added dimension with foam squaring the black piece of paper. The black piece of paper is 4 by 6, and your Western Union telegram piece will be 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. Just adhere that down. So that is your Western Union part down. The next piece you'll want to do is the radio piece before adhering the lady at the typewriter. With the radio piece, I have edge distress the edges as well as use black soot on them. And you'll notice that I've added adhesive to the front of the piece and to the back of the piece. The reason I did both was the back of the piece will adhere to your Western Union card, but the front of the piece will adhere to the lady with the typewriter card. So what you'll want to do is just take the adhesive off the back of it. And when I placed mine down, you'll notice there's a line on your piece here, and that's how I kept mine straight. Just put that there. So now that that's down, I'll take off the adhesive on the top part of the radio tag, and then we're moving on to this public telephone dot paper. That will be the base for your lady with the typewriter. This piece has also been edge distressed and then inked with black soot, along with it's being a 4x6 inch piece. You'll notice that on the back, I've foam squared the bottom, and then in the top corners, it's just done with souquang tape, since there is already quite a bit of dimension around. So, the public telephone piece will line up right beside the radio piece. And when you're adhering, just make sure that you get your bow, your rusty bow out of the way, as well as your public telephone piece goes right to the edge of your script paper. And just adhere that guy down. The next step is you'll want to add your lady at the typewriter card on top of the public telephone dot paper. Edge distress it and ink it with black soot distress ink. Now that the two cards are down, what I did was I rolled the top corner of the Western Union card, just roll it, and the specimen, lady with typewriter specimen type card. So now that you have these two pieces in place, we can move on to building the area where this lady is with the film strip. The next part you'll need is your little typewriter, or whichever piece you choose, as long as it has a bit of red on the background. You'll want to edge distress it, as well as ink the edges with black soot distress ink. And then I added foam tape on the back, as a lot of what is around this piece is already dimensionalized, so it'll just bring it up to the same layer. And that guy will get tucked underneath where the bow is, and it'll be right up against the red tile paper there. So now that that one's down, the next one you'll want are the pens. So you have two pens. It does not matter which one goes on top and which one goes on the bottom. So I'll take this one. I find it's easier to adhere them before adding the lady on top of them, and just make sure that you ink the edges with black soot distress ink. It's really difficult to edge distress them as they are so detailed. Your last pen that will go on, it's really important to make sure it stands straight and that it's out of the way of the type word. So that you can use to make sure that it's straight. The next step you'll want to do is add your little smooching lady in the corner. And part of her is souquanged and the other part of her is foam taped. And she will get adhered to the bottom right-hand corner all the way to the edge of where the tile paper meets. So she'll get adhered down there. The last step of paper that needs to be adhered is the little camera here, and he's going to go down in the corner, and he's just inked with black soot distress ink and added with souquang. So he'll go down, and he goes all the way to the bottom of the red tile paper as well. He'll just get adhered there. Then some other finishing touches I wanted to add were 3 flowers in the top left-hand corner, and then a black flower down in the bottom right-hand corner. So there's the black one in the top left, surrounded by 2 cream ones. And then the last flower will be the black flower that it gets adhered down into the bottom by where the lady is, just to fill that little hole. Once those are in, you'll want to add a couple of keys. And I just add them with glue dots. So this key will be added to the top here. And it's slightly hidden with the ribbon and stuff. And then the other key you'll add is the slightly larger key. And you'll glue dot that twice, and it's going to slide underneath the pens. And this is when you'll need your crop-it-out, or whatever 1/8 inch hole punch you have that will go through mat board. And you'll want to punch your hole just to the left of your cream flower. And you'll want to punch your other hole just above the Communique newsprint there. I did it between the Q and the U. So there we go. So there's your holes. Now it'll be adding your black seam binding ribbon. And I find it's easiest to go through the back first. Once you've got that through, I usually leave about 1 inch so that I have enough room to tie my knot. Then you'll take the other end of your ribbon and put that through the other hole and give that about 1 inch as well, and then tie a knot. Once your knots have been done on either side, you'll want to take your scissors and cut down as close to the knot as possible without cutting open the knot. That way you have minimal ribbon end showing, so that your beautiful wall hanging is center stage. Now that you have the ribbon complete at the top, it's time to add glossy accents to your little camera lens at the bottom. I just take my bottle, squeeze a little bit out, and then just smooth it with the top tip of it. There we go. Now your Communique wall hanging is complete, perfect for any space in your home. Thank you for joining me, and have a great day.